This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Every time there's a sweep, we'll put more up because the city needs to stop doing sweeps.
A back and forth between the city and the homeless plays out in the Pearl. Advocates put up a makeshift campsite while Portland police tell them to take it down. Plus, the trial begins for a romance novelist accused of killing her husband at the culinary school where he taught. Coming up later, we're going to take a look back at the 2018 murder and what's ahead in the case. And new business hopes to bring new life to downtown Portland. We're checking in with a couple business owners as they look to rebound after a really rough couple of years. Good morning to you on this Monday. Just to prepare you, if you have not heard or looked out your window, it is pouring rain, and boy, it's getting windier.
Yeah, I just checked our rain gauge here outside our studios, and more than half of an inch of rain has fallen basically since last night. Wow. And it's just going to get nasty out there. You know, especially throughout your morning commute, we're tracking heavy rain and wind. If you travel over the mountain passes, it's going to be insane how much snow is going to be falling over the next couple of days. Right now, a live look up at Timberline Lodge, 6 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours. Yeah, by the end of today, there could be close to a foot of snow. And up at the ski resorts, you could be looking about maybe 12 to 18 inches. But getting up there is going to be challenging. As we look at the radar, nothing but green throughout the coast and the valley, picking up some heavier cells just north of Portland and through just east of Longview. This is going to be the setup here throughout much of your morning. We'll zoom out a little bit. You can kind of see just how strong this spring storm is, bringing in just sheets of rain since about midnight last night. And that's going to continue at least throughout the morning hour. So as we look at the future cast, we have it here stopped at 8 o'clock this morning, still picking up some showers along the coast, a little bit of some pockets of a little bit of a snow shower throughout the mountains. Now, the snow level is going to be at 3,000 feet today. It drops down to 2,000 feet overnight. You can kind of see throughout the Oregon Cascades, it gets really intense with the snowfall, gusts up to about 60 miles per hour at times. So be aware of that. You're going to be seeing whiteout conditions, and it's going to be challenging to drive up in the higher elevations. Now, the snow showers will carry over into tomorrow. Meanwhile, we'll see more scattered showers heading into the later part of the day, and there's also a slight chance to see some thunderstorms develop. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Yeah, lots going on, Joe. Thank you. Now to a back and forth between the city and advocates for the homeless. It's playing out in the Pearl. This makeshift campsite in Portland is still standing this morning, even after police told the advocates who put it up to take it down. Now, the spot is quiet right now, but it was much busier over the weekend. As Christelle Kumwe tells us, what happens next is unclear.
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Wooden pellets on hand, dozens of volunteers showed up in the Pearl District Sunday morning ready to work.
I help support folks on the street in whatever way I can. All the people who are here do the same thing.
Mimi German spearheaded this effort to build 3 housing structures for the houseless at the intersection of Northwest Davis and Park.
At every turn, there's a sweep.
The move, she says, is in response to the city's sweeps of homeless camps. The plan is to erect these tents right here in the park to house people like this woman who didn't want to appear on camera but says her camp was recently cleared.
They're like really early, like 7:45. You know, it was 8 o'clock when I woke up to them taking my tent down with me in their sleep.
The group faced pushback Sunday. Portland Police and Portland Parks and Rec wanted to see a permit. Instead, they were handed a piece of legislation.
House Bill 4001 that allows nonprofits and religious organizations during an emergency housing crisis to provide shelter in the city.
But city workers were not familiar with the bill, and here's why. According to the Oregon Legislature website, HB 4001 was recommended to pass in 2020, but the session ended before it was finalized. People in the neighborhood had mixed feelings about the project.
18 years ago, we'd walk through this park
with our grandchildren
at night, and we think, can you believe how cool this is?
Phil and Debbie Esther say the neighborhood has deteriorated over the years with crime, drug usage, and mental health concerns with the homeless population. The couple is all for the group providing services and support at the park,
but not to live here.
Neighbor Dave Taylor agrees.
It's terrible down here. Just all the drugs and, you know, people being homeless and needing help.
But welcomes the tents here to help the homeless.
That's awesome. It's great.
After the 3 main tents were up, Volunteers pitch dozens of smaller ones around the park, ignoring calls from police to stop the work.
We'll just keep erecting these all around. Every time there's a sweep, we'll put more up because the city needs to stop doing sweeps.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
New cars in the U.S. will have to average at least 40 miles per gallon of gas in 2026 under new rules unveiled by the government. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said these fuel economy requirements will undo a rollback from President Trump. So for that model year, standards enacted under the former president require new vehicles to get 28 miles per gallon. That's expected to decrease carbon dioxide emissions, but not as much as some environmentalists had wanted. It'll also raise some new car prices in an industry already pressed by inflation and supply chain issues. Well, downtown Portland is seeing more activity after a rough couple of years. New businesses are opening up and others are reopening after protests and the pandemic. And some people in the area starting to feel a little more optimistic. Art Edwards has a look at some of the progress.
Martin Monago has his food cart named El Pilon on Southwest 2nd near Pine. He rode out the protests in downtown Portland and the pandemic. He's not the only business to do that. The Boo Ranco Cafe nearby survived by being flexible. The owners say things are changing.
We've definitely seen way more foot traffic, especially after the mandate lifted. We see way more people walking by since the weather's gotten pretty good. Way more people have come out. And just sales have increased quite a bit.
Monago is not new to the area. A few blocks away at the Cabin Cafe, Annabelle Gutierrez is just starting out. She opened a month ago and serves Cuban and Mexican food. Gutierrez decided now was the time to pursue her dream of owning a restaurant. What's happened in the last couple of years didn't stop her.
I was not really nervous. I was just like actually, you know, if everything is going to happen, it's going to happen anywhere. You know, bad situations, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. You just have to stay focused on what you want and reach your goals.
There is a feeling now that things are changing in Portland.
Last summer, before we moved here, it kind of felt like a ghost town with everything boarded up, very few people. Felt a little bit post-apocalyptic. Yeah, so definitely feels more revitalized.
Art Edwards, KGW News.
A historic theater in Southeast Portland has new owners who plan to reinvent and remodel the space. After 10 years of ownership by Lanny Joe and Roger Lee, 6 new owners took over the Clinton Street Theater yesterday. It's well known for playing the Rocky Horror Picture Show every Saturday at midnight. That's been happening for the last 44 years. But the owners say they want to expand the types of movies that are playing, as well as live entertainment options.
Yeah, we're excited to expand our live music offerings. We're excited to do comedy, drag, burlesque, all kinds of different performances. And we'll also do a lot of community events, documentaries, having scientists, professors come out and talk about their area of expertise.
That 107-year-old theater is raising money through a GoFundMe to get some new equipment for showing cult classic films. The owners say the theater, though, will still have that same dive bar feel, but they want to get a new projector and speakers. Well, 5 years ago, Oregon's bottle bill refund increased from 5 cents to a dime at 10 cents. And we bring this up because the state and private operators of the bottle bill say it's working. Redemption rates instantly increased and have stayed above 80% every year except one since 2017. Helping those numbers is the amount of recycling centers available, which processed more than 11 million bags of cans and bottles just last year. That translates to a refund for Oregonians of just under $200 million.
It's crazy to think about the numbers, but the Oregon's bottle bill helped get 1.99 billion containers processed in 2021. So you can think about keeping those containers out of landfills, keeping them out of our ocean and our streams and rivers and roadways and Oregon special places, and most importantly, making sure that they get recycled back to the highest and best outcome.
Starting in 2025, you will be able to turn in canned wine cans for a refund. Governor Brown signed a bill making that official last week.
See, that's a good reminder because we just collect those darn cans and then they're sitting in a big garbage bag in the corner of the garage.
I think our garages look the same. Yep.
Yeah. All right, it is wet out there this morning. It's blowing. 2 hands on the steering wheel driving into work.
Exactly. That's what Nina said during the 4:30. And what's wild is, you guys, last April we saw about a 1/4 of an inch of rain. Of course, it was one of the driest springs on record. Already we're over a 1/2 of an inch of rain just outside our studio. So you get the idea. This is a very big system that's going to be moving on shore, bringing a lot of wind and a rain over most of the morning and into the afternoon hours. And you can see right now a temperature of 50 degrees, relatively mild, but you'll notice the winds coming in out of the south at 20 miles per hour. We're going to be under a wind advisory here locally all day long, and it's going to be staying rainy and windy a good part of the day, although the showers will start to taper off a little bit by the end of your morning commute, but we're still going to be seeing the threat of some thunderstorms. If those thunderstorms do roll through, we're going to be seeing some heavier cells moving in. Meanwhile, throughout the Oregon Cascades, a very potent spring snowstorm throughout the mountains. As we look at the weather headlines up there, heavy mountain snow today, 10 to 14 inches of snow possible. Get this, there could be another foot of new snow heading into the overnight hours. So driving over the mountain passes today is going to be pretty challenging. It will be difficult to drive throughout a good part of the day. Snow level today at 3,000 feet. Overnight, it drops down to 2,000 feet. So if you're along the coast range and throughout the foothills of the mountains, you could be waking up to a couple of inches of new snow by tomorrow morning. So far, rainfall amounts 2/10 of an inch of rain since midnight. These numbers are really going to jump up throughout the day. Take a look at Scappoose, close to 3/4, over a 1/2 of an inch of rain over in Hillsborough and in Wine Country. Along the east side of the state, you haven't picked up much, but you'll be seeing a little bit. But this is going to be a system that's going to be bringing in a lot of rain throughout the west side of the state. How much rain are we talking? Excuse me. Well, by the end of tonight, we could be looking at close to 1/3 of an inch of rain. I think some of these rainfall amounts will be a little bit higher, especially if some of these thunderstorms start to move through. The mountain snow, like I said, is going to be really impressive, especially throughout the ski resorts. Anywhere from 8 to maybe 14 inches just today, another foot overnight. So if you're going to be traveling over there, be prepared for some slick roads, and it's going to be tough to get up to the mountain passes. Again, here's a look at the severe weather potential throughout the coast and the valley. I think the thunderstorms could start to move through as early as late morning and in the early part of the afternoon. Today, it's going to be rainy and windy. Some morning showers for Tuesday, but Brenda, Nina, take a look at Wednesday. We'll be seeing temperatures in the mid-60s. It gets even better heading into Thursday. Daytime highs in the low to mid-70s before a bit of a cool down heading into the later part of the week.
Ooh, that is awesome. 72 degrees. Joe, thank you.